I want to bring up the next couple, but I want to share with you guys a little bit about, you know, Dallin. We recognized him, Dallin. Dan, and I sat down at the office, and Dallin said, I want to hand out a couple of awards this year. And we talked about, you know, different people and what they've been through and struggles. And, you know, there's so much talk up here about the trials. When I was bringing Rick up earlier, I talked about don't let a stumble be the end of your journey, right? Same quote goes for this couple. They've been through a lot. Not just in this industry the last couple years, which they'll share with you, but they've been through a lot in life. And Ricky, I know there's probably going to be some gasp here at the front row when I tell this, but we were at the advisory council meeting. And I can be a pretty passionate dude, right? Ricky can be a passionate guy. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for him. We've grown very close the last 6 months. And I sat up there at the advisory council meeting, and there was some great discussion, because great discussion doesn't just come out of just sitting down across the table for 15 minutes and everybody agrees on something. You guys agree with that? Here's where great discussion comes from. I disagree with you, you disagree with me. We respectfully try to figure out how we both go to the same place we're all going. Does that make sense? So Ricky and I sat down at the advisory council. I had some ideas, he's had some ideas. Since that period, I believe we've both grown together, and I've grown close to them. I have a tremendous amount of respect for their work ethic, for who they are as parents. They just came out. We celebrated them a couple weeks ago out in Salt Lake City. They have incredible hearts for people, for their team, for their group. And I whispered in Ricky's ear last night when he was up here how much respect I have for him, for the fight that's inside of him. He's got a ton of fight inside of him and Francoise Untermeyer both. I want you guys to stay standing and give a warm welcome to Black Diamond brand partner Ricky and Francoise Untermeyer.
Something big, I feel it happening out of my control. Pushing, pulling, and it's grabbing me. Feel it in my bones like, oh, whoa, whoa.
Paseo Dreamers, how are you doing? Pretty exciting. We feel honored and blessed to share this stage with such amazing leadership. To go somewhat last puts a lot of pressure on us. You know, we're babies in this profession, but you know, I feel honored to share this stage with Dallin and Carrie Larson. They're legends in this profession. I also feel honored to be able to do business with Daniel PQ. My wife and I just love him like a brother. And then our awesome sponsors, Corbin and Holly Roush. I know my wife and I are intense. We drive them crazy, but we love them. We've been to their house, we've seen their family, and if you see people's kids, you know how wonderful they are as parents. And Corbin and Holly are an amazing family, awesome parents, and also our wonderful, our team. You know, we're not on this stage, we're sharing this stage with you guys. So we love you guys like family. And just like I said last night, we're going to work our butts off to make sure you guys get freedom in your life. And we take this business very seriously because you're relying on us. And we love you guys. And, you know, and we want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He picked a scared couple to bless with his anointing and favor, and we don't take that lightly either. We don't get it right all the time, but we take it seriously. So my wife is going to share our journey and how we started in this profession.
Yes, well, gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I have to say, when we were asked to speak here today with you guys at the Dream Conference, my first initial response was like, oh no, we have to talk, because it's probably the least thing I like to do about this business. But you know, it's crazy. That's what this industry does, this profession. It allows you to stretch and grow, right? And the fear never goes away. You can't eliminate fear, but you gain courage. And that's what I've gained so much, this industry, so much courage. And it's like a muscle, right? Like the more you use it, the more it grows. And that's why I'm here today. But when we were asked to speak, it was like, well, what do we have? Like, we've only been in the industry 2.5 years. Why not have Charlie or Frank speak today? Because they're just so much more successful in this industry. But, you know, we're here for a reason. I think God has an anointing on our life to serve and help a lot of people. And that was my original vision. When I sat down, gosh, 2.5 years ago, I was like, I want to be part of something bigger, a bigger purpose, not just a stay-at-home mom. I was a director of nursing by trade, but I was home for 5-6 years, and I was looking for something bigger. And, you know, this industry is just so amazing because it allows you to do things you never thought you could do. But as we reflect on the last few years of our life, and, you know, I started to think, well, what am I going to share? And I was like, there's so many good mentors out there, right? I mean, like, you can plug into so many different systems, but it's our journey. It's what's brought us here today is the things that we did right, the things that we did wrong. And so today what I'm just going to do is I'm going to share something with you, just a few things with you that I think might help you in your business, because you're sitting there saying, well, here they are, black diamonds, what do they do? Well, it's not like one thing. It's a bunch of little things, but it's learning from your experiences and then being okay with correcting them, and being okay to have a mentor, being okay and having the courage to step out of your comfort zone. You know, we've been in the industry now for 2.5 years, and I believe I would be saying I was in the industry for 7.5 years if I was shown this industry the right way the first time. And a lot of times say, come in, be coachable, follow the system, do this, do that. But it's really about your first impression. So psychologists say that you have 7 minutes before somebody decides whether they like or dislike you. So you want it to be powerful. And I think it's the same thing in this industry. Your first impression, when you sit down with someone and you show them that business, you have to treat it like a real business, not like a hobby. And I think a lot of times we get so excited. We're like, oh my gosh, I just signed up. The products are amazing, the energy, whatever. And then you go out and you share it, but you didn't take the time to do the training. Your VAT book is still in the bottom in the box of your main package. Right? Some people are like, oh, I didn't even get a Viseo action plan. I'm like, did you check the bottom of your box? Right? So, you know, it's those little things. It's like, it's because it's so cheap, you don't value it. But if you put $500,000 down for a franchise, would you read the manual? Yes, you would read the manual. And so that's what I want to encourage you guys today is that first impression is so important. Take the time. Treat this like a real business, because I'm telling you, when I sat down for the first time with the person who showed me, she pre-qualified me. There was no presentation. She saw that I was in the medical industry. I liked health and wellness, so she literally told me that I was basically a customer because she didn't even show me the business. So she didn't even give me the opportunity to choose, so I said no. 5 years later, same business, same opportunity. This time she followed a system. She showed me a video. There was a system in place, and I had a chance to see what I wanted, whether I was business or product, and I was business. So if she would have showed me, I would have been celebrating 7.5 years in this amazing industry, but she was so excited. So what I want to tell you today is, even if you're in the business for a while and you're like, well, I kind of messed up and I didn't do that, just don't think what I'm sharing with you is about you. It's about building a team and being a leader and leading by example. So on our team right now, we have a system. We follow the VAT. We have other little things. We break it down. Because sometimes people come in this business, right, and you kind of have to give them the ABCs 1, 2, 3s, right? Like, they just don't get it. You say, pick up the phone and make a phone call. They're like, kind of like what Kathy was saying. You have to break it down for them because they just don't get it right away. And so when, excuse me. Sorry. So when you break it down, you have to break it down for them. And so when you're in this business and you first bring somebody in, you want to make sure you're building a team. You're building a team and you're building it the right way. There are no exceptions, right, to your system. Like in our team, if you don't follow the system, we don't work with you because we know you won't be there in 6 months. And it's hard to say, but it's the truth. They won't without following a system, because your business will only grow as far as you can reach. If you're always that person, If you're always that person that has to do everything on your team, it won't grow. Like in our business, my husband was in construction, I was a director. Everyone came to me for everything. And in this business, it was totally different. You have to develop people. You have to rise people up for them to build their own businesses. Otherwise, they're not going to duplicate. And so you have to have a simple system. And so when I say system equals residual, that means system cannot depend on that person. It has to be system dependent. Now, third-party validation, did you want to talk about
third-party validation is hugely important in your business. Quite honestly, I wouldn't be standing on this stage without third-party validation, and that means leverage. I think leverage is the most important thing for a tool for you to use to get people into your business. My wife came to me at first 2.5 years ago and said, hey, I got this product. I said, no, thank you. And because I had a bad experience, prior experience in network marketing. I ended up taking $1,200 worth of product instead of actually building a business because I had a bad person that brought me in the business. They weren't professional. So what I seen with this business, once she used leverage, she put me on the phone with someone that had the dreams and goals that I wanted. And once I seen what was possible from this profession, like Dallin says, it's a big business. It's a real business. I mean, this guy was 38 years old making 50 grand a week, and I didn't know that was possible. So once I heard that was possible, and I seen that I was going to have professional support and mentorship, I knew how important mentorship was in business. You know, at 19 years old, I was a high school dropout. I found a mentor, ended up being very successful by the time I was 21. It was invaluable for me to have a mentor. So I could see that I was going to have a mentor. I seen what was possible. I seen that passive residual income. I had a construction company. I was contract to contract. So he had another thing that I wanted. He had multiple streams of income. That's something I've always wanted. And then I started realizing I could do a business with her, with my wife, which is pretty powerful. And then what I really seen was that I was going to be able to leverage him in our business. And that's huge. I don't think in this business we use leverage enough. We try to go out there and do it ourselves. And so once I seen that this was a big business, I jumped on board and we started building this profession that I fell in love with.
Yeah, and so once, Ricky and I decided to get into the industry, we knew that it would take hard work, and that's something I think we've had our whole life. We've always had to work hard for everything we've actually ever received because we came from a family we didn't have much. But to do that, there's a lot of sacrifice. We stopped watching TV. We actually changed our circle of friends, which was hard. But when you have people that are negative around you, it affects you. And in this business, 90% mindset. Wouldn't you agree? It's all mindset. And so that was hard for us. But we also learned to serve and support our team, because the last thing we want to do is go out and ruin our integrity, sign up a bunch of people, all of our friends, and turn around and see a bunch of dead bodies because we didn't support them. And that's why you'll hear a lot on our team is that we support and serve, is because it's not just going out and signing up a bunch of people. It's about helping them be successful. And then the way we do that, guys, it's literally belly to belly. And I think I've heard that a couple of times throughout this conference. It's belly to belly. It's belly to belly. You have to build relationships. If you build the people, they will build the business. It is so true. You can't do it over the internet. You can't put a post out and think you're going to have a large business. It's not going to happen. So one-on-ones are huge. Home meetings, there's nothing better than home meetings. It's so exciting. I love home meetings. I was so sad when we had to leave our home, our personal home, and that was like, what, a $2,000 fine for having all those meetings. It was crazy. But I loved it because you built a culture. And then to do that with your team, I mean, once you get bigger, then you can have the bigger events. But hotels, you guys, don't go to those first because it's stale. It feels dry. When you bring someone into your home, it's a different feeling. I promise you'll have more success that way. And I think someone touched on this earlier. Make sure it's duplicatable. You don't have to impress anyone. The simpler you keep it, the better, because it can duplicate, because it's not what works, it's what duplicates. And if you bring a single mom to your home and she's looking around, you have this beautiful spread, yeah, you might have impressed her, but she's not encouraged to do it herself because she's like, hey, I can never afford to do that. I can barely pay a bill. Right? So those are the things you want to think about. And then we just duplicate that with our same team. You don't want to hold your team back. You want to make sure you're helping them grow. And that's part of being a leader, is saying, hey, listen, get out there and do it. You're going to make mistakes, right? Like you guys throwing us up here. It's okay if you make mistakes. It's not about being perfect. It's just about speaking from your heart and doing what's right. Okay, so culture, this is something I'm big about. I'm like a mama bird on our team. But I love to make sure people feel accepted. You know, growing up, I didn't have the best shoes. I mean, I think I had the same shoes all years. I used to clean it with a toothbrush just so people wouldn't make fun of me on the bus. We came from a big family, a family of 7. We didn't have much. My father and mother were divorced when I was 9 years old. So it was tough. But one thing I love to is find the underdogs, the people that feel like they're not accepted, and make sure they feel loved and appreciated, and build a family and a culture. And we build a culture as Viseo, but just don't think the culture of Viseo. Think of your team, because they should be your family, right? You should call them up and not just talk about business. Know the name of their children. Get involved in their life. It's so powerful when you have a family unit, because you never feel like you go to work. And that's one thing I love about this business, I always say, is you get to pick who you want to work with. Like in corporate America, you don't get to pick who you want to work with, right? Here, you're like, okay, well, if I don't like you, I'm not going to call you. But realistically, you know, I mean, hopefully you like everyone. But that's one thing. And then trust and loyalty. That's huge on our team. The truth is always good enough. It really is. And be okay to have tough conversations. Real friends don't hide when there's something tough. If you have a problem with somebody on your team, you tell them. You say, hey, listen, are we okay? Or I'm not feeling right. Is there something going on? That's what's going to build you a strong, lasting relationship. You know, when Daniel spoke about him and Ricky having an intense conversation, that was a gift. When two people that are mature can actually go head to head and then come out and be strong, those are lasting relationships you'll take with you for the rest of your life. It's amazing. And then servant leadership, I mean, if you don't like to serve and you don't like people, you probably should just get up and walk out, because you're not going to be successful, I promise. But that's one powerful thing about this business. You get to see other people grow. I mean, to see Deb and Mario tonight, or Jennifer Bennett up here, or the next act that's coming out, like, those things are just amazing, because sometimes, you know, in life, I think that we get scared to grow. And when you're not comfortable with something, you're just like, well, I'm not going to do it. But if you're not feeling fear or scared every day, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're what? You're dying, right? And so I feel like this business has made me feel so alive. And I just challenge every one of you today is continues to push. Even if it doesn't work, try again. They always say if you did something the first time and it doesn't work, do exactly what your coach told you to do the first time, and it will. And that's typically what we've done. Every time we try to go out into the woods and do something that wasn't on the path, we've realized, hey, listen, this is a path the company has put right for us. Just follow it. Don't go in the woods trying to make your own system. It's not going to work. This has been, what, a decade of different information in that VAT book that people has put out there for you. Follow it and you'll have success. And at the end of the day, you guys just have fun. Right? Who cares if someone says no? It's not a big deal. We go for the no's. Sometimes we wake up, how many no's are you getting today? And I'm like, I'm going to get 5. He's like, I'm going to get 10. So because realistically, if the ratio is 1 out of 10, right? You have to sit down with 10 people to get 1 person. Now, you need 9 no's to get there. So like, if he says no to me, I'm like, okay, thank you. I need 8 more. Thank you. I need 7 more. So just look at it. Have fun with it. They can't eat you. Like, if they say no, like, what are they going to do? It's not a big deal. Don't take it so seriously. At the end of the day, they're going to watch you. I promise they are watching you. If you don't give up, every single person that is in your that's not in your business that says no to you will eventually be in your business. I promise you, if you stick and stay, you'll get your pay. And they will all follow you, but they're waiting. Okay, this one.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to have to fly through this. This timer's going fast. So 21 years, not 2.5 years. What does that mean? Our success is not from 2.5 years of work in this profession. It started a long time ago, over 20 years ago. You know, at 19, I was a high school dropout. I was living in a 300-square-foot house, and I said yes to being an entrepreneur. And I started a paint company. And the first 2 weeks, my first 2 employees quit because I couldn't pay them. So, you know, that's kind of what you forget about when you're an entrepreneur and you're 19, that actually got to pay employees. and you don't have no money. So it was reality. So here's what happened. I had a choice, just like you do. Get back up, go back to work and work by myself, or quit. I decided not to quit because I wanted my freedom. I was tired of being broke. And that's why I'm standing on this stage. Through a lot of trials and tribulation as an entrepreneur, we've had this success. Same with my wife. She's worked hard her whole life. One semester, she took 18 credit hours in college. She didn't watch a movie for 2 years, being in her young teens and 20s. So it's sacrifice and dedication is why we're standing here. It wasn't 2.5 years ago. It's been a lot of hard work. And that's the same thing for you guys. So what I wanted to do, and this is not going to be roses and petals, because business is not easy. But to be successful in business, first is a decision. So who in here, show of hands, said yes to Becerra because they wanted to be an entrepreneur? Pretty much everybody in the whole room. So you've already made the decision. What's next? So this is over 21 years owning my own business that I've kind of figured out what you have to be successful in business. And the second one is dream and vision. Proverbs 23:7 says, a man without vision perishes. You got to know where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going through the hard times, you start thinking about here and now, and you never can see the future. So you stop in the moment. So then number 3, hard work. This is where most people quit, by the way, because we're not used to hard work. Proverbs 10:4 says, a diligent hand brings wealth. So that means working hard. This is something that everybody looks at us and says we work hard. It's not that we like working hard, we like the results and what that gives you. So I'm not up here trying to tell you you're going to like hard work, but I can promise you you're like the results, which I'll get into in a minute. Then sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot. When we said yes to this profession, we stopped watching TV for 2 years. And it's not just self-sacrifice. It's sacrifice and family time. You know how many times over the last 2.5 years I haven't seen my kids go to sleep when I used to pray for them every night? That hurts as a father, but I know what that can lead to in the future, just like it happened in my life from 19 years old. And then mentorship, like I said earlier, it's hugely important. If you want to be like people you see here, you got to get information from the ones that's done it before you. And then if you look right here, self-development, like you heard me last night, if you are not self-developing, your mind will take you out. This world is full of negativity, and it's waiting to crush you. Trust me. I believe my wife and I have self-developed more than probably 90% of people that we know because of the stuff we have to deal with. And you have to be able to go through the grit and the pain. I mean, this is not for the lighthearted. You're dealing with people. What does Charlie say? Good thing about this business, people. Bad thing about this business, people. So you're going to have to deal with that. And then staying plugged in. I mean, how many people, if you ask Corbin and Holly, they sign up, they come to the first meeting, second meeting they don't come to, they make excuses why they can't come to the Dream Conference, then we know they're going to be out because they ain't sacrificed. Back up on the top of that list. I mean, look at our first meeting. We didn't want to go to 2.5 years ago in Dallas. And her sponsor said, if you don't go, I won't work with you. So we went, and we stayed plugged in, and we're here. And be competitive. Winners compete. Think about what Corbin said yesterday. And I find this with every successful person out there. If you read books and you research people that are successful, they're competitive. Corbin said, Charlie said, he's a bum, he'll quit. What did you hear Corbin say? I'll show him. Listen, when I said yes to be an entrepreneur, I went to my family's Christmas. I said my family, by the way. 12 of them at a table. They said, Ricky, what you're doing? What are you doing these days? I just started my own business. They all laughed. Yeah, you own your own business? What did I say inside? I said, I'll show every one of you guys. That's right. Them same people are broke and jealous now. So you better get competitive if you're going to own your own business. And give. This is the most skipped over thing, I believe, if you want to become wealthy. If you're not going to give, you shall not receive. I can promise you that. And you won't be fulfilled putting it all in your pockets and not giving it out. I can promise you that. I have given away millions of dollars in my life, and I believe that's why God looks over some of my bad habits. So, my dad taught me at a young age, if I wanted to receive, I was going to have to give. And the impact of watching people's life transform from giving is the greatest blessing of getting. I can promise you that. So, last but not least, why? Yes, why is important. But I believe it has to be a must. If you look at my life, at 19, it was a must. My why was important, but if I didn't go out there and do it, I wasn't going to eat. I wasn't going to pay my rent payment of $250 a month with the electricity. So, you know, and that's what's kind of wrong with this profession is it's not a must for a lot of people. 99% of them do it part-time. And if the part-time doesn't work out and it gets hard, they go to the full-time thing that they're comfortable with. Yes. So in your mind, you say, I must have my freedom. And then I'll have my why. So, thoughts. Running your own business is hard. It's not easy. But I guarantee you'll love the results from it. More time freedom with your family, your kids. Being able to choose when you go out of town, not to have to ask. Be able to go buy your clothes when you want to, pay your bills. There's so much stuff. I mean, you can't even get it all in. So, fear, you're always going to have fear. You build courage. So remember that. Resistance. Rick Gutman didn't look like that from not putting more resistance on the barbell. I can promise you that. So, you want to grow in business, you're going to have a lot of resistance. Your freedom. This is the one that drives me nuts. People let other people's opinions dictate their freedom. And opinions ain't going to pay your bills, I can promise you, and either of them people. So, and then your dreams and goals without action are just thoughts in your head. You can sit in a chair all day and dream about mansions and estates and cars, but if you don't put action behind it, it's just thoughts. God gave me that this week, blew me away. So, results. Here's what happens if you follow that list. In this last year, 15 people have accepted Christ since we said yes to Viseo. You could have everything else for number 2 here in number 1. Our son is off ADHD medicine with the neuro. And I said yes for the opportunity here. And look what happened. How many other people are waiting out there that they're going to say yes for the opportunity, but their lives are transformed from the product? That's what happened in my household. Time freedom. I get to take my kids to school. I get to pick them up whenever I want to. I get to spend time with my wife every day. That's good, sometimes bad. So I gained wonderful friends that are closer to me than my own family. That I know if I'm going through something, I can call, and they have my back. Barry Jackson's like my brother. Corey's like, I could go through the whole list here. I love all you guys. So does my wife. Passive residual income. Think about that for a second. I was contract to contract. I finished the contract. I didn't get paid. Swimming pool. This is the most proud moment for my wife. For 10 years, she's been begging for a swimming pool. The best part about it, we're getting a swimming pool that's going to be paid for in cash. Sponsored by Viseo. So, as we end this wonderful time, one word here. It's not on the screen. Oh, yeah, it is. So, to sum up all these bullet points, everything, this is what I want you guys to be in 2018, Relentless. So, I want to see, by you standing up, who's going to be relentless in 2018. So here's what I want you to do, though. I want you to look around at each other, because you said you're going to be relentless in 2018 when someone tells you no, your friend tells you you're crazy, your wife tells you you're stupid. I want you to remember at the Dream Conference in 2018, you said you were going to be relentless, because people that are relentless do not quit. And that means you'll be at the conference in August in Utah if you're relentless. So, 2018, be relentless. Don't let fear stand in the way of your purpose. We love all you. God bless.